Disclaimer. This episode contains graphic descriptions of violence that may be disturbing to some listeners. Please be advised.
Wow, hello.
Oh, hey there.
Hi.
I'm Taylor.
I am Mandy.
I'm Amanda.
That was weird.
I'm just trying to be Taylor again.
Oh, okay.
And this is Pop Crime and Wine.
This is Pop Crime and Wine. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us for episode 11
Oh, yeah.
called Little Black Dress.
Little Black Dress.
I
Yes.
love my little black dresses.
So tell us about our sponsor.
Okay, so our sponsor is Wendy Kilborn. She is a national board certified health and wellness coach. She got us this bottle of Little Black Dress, and she said, "What sustainable changes are you willing to make to look and feel good in that little black dress?"
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks, Wendy.
Thanks.
If you guys are interested, you can email her at wmkilbourne@gmail.com.
Nice.
Popping bottles in the club.
All the girls in the club get tipsy. Get tipsy.
So when she gave me this bottle, I was like, oh yeah, this sounds so good. Little black dress goes with everything. And then I read the back of the bottle, and it literally says, oh, let me see it really quick.
That it'll pair with
Great
anything?
taste goes with everything.
Oh my God.
So-
They really hit the mark there on
They did.
marketing. Thank you. Thanks. Topping that off.
Cheers.
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 Governor. That was weird. Never
Yeah.
mind.
That kind of has like a
Oh my
sweetness
goodness.
to it.
It tastes so delicious.
Oh, that's
It's like berries almost.
that's very berry.
Not Mary Berry from the Great British Baking Show.
I love Mary Berry.
but
I want her to be my
very
other
berry.
grandma.
I want her to. It's scrummy.
It's scrummy.
It's so
It's
scrummy.
got a,
Oh, like
a
scrumptious?
flaky crust.
Yeah.
I
Soggy
love that.
bottoms.
Soggy bottom.
It's got a soggy bottom. It's very heavy.
Scrummy.
Scrummy. I love a good flaky crust. Sorry.
If you
I'm
haven't
done.
seen the Great British Baking Show on Netflix, you need to go and watch it right after
meow.
you listen to this podcast.
I
Yes.
will probably do that.
In an hour.
I'm really
So.
hungry though, so
Oh, great.
Oh man, I don't even. You know when you're
I'll
so
probably eat
hungry
first.
that you're craving actually good food. Like when I'm not so hungry, I crave things that I know I shouldn't have. If that makes sense. When I'm really hungry, I crave like a whole lot of vegetables and
I
like
think
chicken.
I might actually be the opposite
I'm
of that.
definitely
Really?
the opposite.
Yeah.
I normally eat like chicken and vegetables, and that's like what I sustain
Yourself on?
myself.
But I eat veggies all the time.
But if you're like so hungry
I
that
want
you're
mashed
ravenous,
potatoes or mac and cheese. Like
You want comfort
like nasty
food.
comfort foods.
Like-
yeah. Not
Yeah.
that mac
I
and
guess I'm
cheese
the
or mashed
minority
potatoes
here.
are nasty. but-
which was funny because today I was just so incredibly hungry, like before we were recording this podcast, and I haven't gone grocery shopping in a really long time, so all I had was walnuts.
so sad.
So
all I had was a half a pack of fake crab meat at like
so gross.
at noon with coffee.
I
That's
had,
it. And then I had
have
that
had
pack of
multiple-
tuna.
I've had multiple
all of
things
the
to eat
sea
today.
crustaceans.
I like
that are served
packaged
in bags.
seafood.
Bagged up seafood.
Shit.
Sea crustaceans.
Well,
I guess tuna's not a
Tuna's not a
crustacean, but
crustacean.
it sounded really good coming
It
out.
did, and I wouldn't have even noticed.
Sorry.
That was
Thanks,
a
Amanda.
blur of a word.
We did call me a mermaid, so I had to keep on the
The sea
the
life.
sea life. Hashtag salt life.
Oh yeah,
Which would say
you have
it.
that
reminds
bumper
us.
sticker?
So we ended up posting pictures of ourselves recently, so you could kind of meet what we look like.
Put the face to
You
the
could,
voice.
put the voice to the face.
Nope. The face to the voice.
No, the face to the voice. Yep.
Wow. I'm going to write this down.
But
TT agreed with me. I was right.
either way, it's you're putting them together,
Yes.
On Sep-
and we're happy about that.
oh my goodness.
Most of the time, we aren't 100% like put together, but
Yeah.
We had a really nice photo shoot, so
Yeah.
we gave you our best.
100% my hair was super dirty in that picture.
It's okay.
No
Sometimes
regrets.
I think
but that's how I wear it like most often.
When I took that picture, my hair was probably the most clean in any picture I've ever taken, actually.
Yeah.
I've never seen it cleaner.
It is-
honestly.
It is like
Yeah.
fresh out of the oven.
Yeah, it was. It was washed
Speaking
that
of
morning.
potatoes.
Really, really nice. Really nice.
Oh, this is the second glass of wine that we're having this evening.
Don't tell them that.
Sorry.
Yeah, shh, secrets.
I'm just saying I get a little goofy. And I
So,
get a little
This
blurry.
wine is
I
delicious.
speak in
It's really
cursive
good.
at some point.
I speak in cursive every once in a while.
Little black dress. Okay.
All right.
This week.
Pop culture, we're getting real. What's the word I'm thinking of?
Real.
Poppy.
Real. Yeah.
I mean, it's real. This is like real
this
life.
has to do with everyone on the
Yes.
planet.
Although
Ooh,
I
I'm
did
excited.
only because
Some more than others.
So we're going to kind of talk about gender equality and where things have changed and what has changed and when
And how and who.
Right. And so I actually found myself like there was hardly anything about men's rights changing because they've always had them. Sorry, guys.
I have a couple numbers with men, and a lot of them, like percentage or
Okay.
what they were paid at one point, and
Okay.
as opposed to now. And yeah, we'll get to it, but
See, and
yeah,
I just
most of it was women's equality,
right
Because they
we had
don't
to
have
work
it.
for it. Yeah.
Right. We still don't have it.
I kind of did a timeline at first.
Okay.
And then I just had random bullet points. So I don't know if I could go through the timeline
Sure.
and then we could expand on that.
Yeah.
I just want to quickly just remind our listeners that even though we changed how we do things and how two of us now do the pop culture, we still don't discuss it beforehand.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
all
we're,
off the
we're
cuff.
coming in blind.
So both
Yep.
Taylor and Mandy researched this.
Such a large
General
topic.
idea,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then now we're coming in to like discuss it all together, and we like they don't know what each other has researched.
Right.
I didn't even know the topic until 2 seconds ago when you guys found out. So that is what this is.
We're going to try and have an intellectual discussion about gender equality with
Three women.
Yeah, 3 women and no format.
I think that
No,
I'm
it's
probably
gonna
a
be
good
wonderful.
person though to like I have never worked in like a place that I wasn't an equal. So because I mean I was a server and then I do hair.
Yeah.
Which technically I probably am the majority in where I work.
Yeah,
so
that's
like
true.
Yeah.
more men probably feel like they need to be more equal in the hair world or
Yeah, so you'll have a different perspective
so
on
I
it.
think that's a
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
cool
definitely.
Yeah, and
spot for
I
me to
feel
be
like
in for this.
a lot of my life I was always the minority. Being a woman hunter, being a woman doing various farm chores, being a woman, hanging with my brother and his friends. Like I was the girl. I was a tomboy forever. I mean, I still kind of am, but definitely in a man's world
and
kind
the
of thing.
the music world too.
Music world is still a man's world,
Very
to be
much so.
honest. Okay. So, 1777, all states pass laws which take away women's right to vote. That was my first bullet point that I was
Wait,
like,
what year was that?
1777.
Okay.
This was right
So-
after the Constitution.
So we had it like before they took it away in 17
I don't think that it was specified.
Okay.
And then a year later,
They made
specified
sure, like,
that
you
we were
cannot
not
vote.
included.
Okay.
1789, the
Oh.
U.S. Constitution ratified the terms person, people, and electors are used, allowing the interpretation of those beings to include men and women. So they finally allowed us to be called people in a legal term, women. So anyway, that was 1789. We were legally called people in the public and whatever.
What did they think we were before?
We just weren't considered. We were not like nothing about women was considered. Our feelings.
We were
our
aliens
vote-
with boobs.
Yeah, they were like, "You're gonna
You make
birth us
babies.
sons."
Yeah.
and whatever. Okay, 1839. The first state, being Mississippi, grants women the right to hold property in their own name, but has to be with their husband's permission.
Still, shout out to the South for
I was
being
gonna
the
say,
first ones.
yeah.
What?
Which is surprising, to be honest.
Eh.
I mean, yeah. 1890, the first state, which is Wyoming, grants women the right to vote in elections. So Wyoming was the first state to allow us to vote. We were people. We mattered.
Who even knows where Wyoming is? So
Wyoming's beautiful. I would love to go back there. 1965, the Supreme Court overturns one of the last state laws prohibiting the prescription or use of contraceptives by married couples. So,
wait. Did you say,
okay. So
Okay.
married couples were not allowed to use.
So not just Catholics.
No, just everybody.
Everyone can do it.
They legally were not allowed to use contraceptives. 1994, Congress adopts the Gender Equity in Education Act to train teachers in gender equity, promote math and science learning by girls, counsel pregnant teens, and prevent sexual harassment. So they were trying to teach teachers and people in education how to combat gender inequality in the classroom and in the workspace. So I think that was 1994. That was after we were all born.
Yeah.
I mean, this stuff is just
So we still
too
have the
new.
issue today. We
Yes.
still have it.
Yeah.
It's like ongoing.
Yes.
So the fact that 1994 they were trying, I mean,
Just because they passed a law doesn't
I just
mean
can't believe how long it's taking.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like it covers a lot. Like we as a country are also the youngest country and like the youngest large country in the world. Like we're only like 250 years old.
Okay.
No,
but-
I'm not. No, I'm saying like it's like I want to know what the other countries are like. If there's gender equality in other countries too, and if we're just like super far behind, or
It goes
if we
both
are
ways.
more progressive.
There's more God, there's the one. There's more progressive countries in the world than us in gender equality by far, and there's way less.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're kind of in the middle.
Anytime I say anything, I'm not being like I'm a female. I'm all about.
No, yeah.
So I'm just asking questions. Like I don't want
all-inclusive.
people to think that I'm like, oh, we as women don't need rights.
Yeah.
or, like
I wonder what the Native Americans, their, gender equality is
They were
like.
always-
Before we got there, like, I feel like, before the land was taken over by
even on
Europeans
European settlers,
or Spanish.
they
or,
not like they
I can imagine
worshipped
they
women.
had equality between
Yes,
the two.
is what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Was that it was like they took care of their women and they respected their women and brought their girls up to be knowledgeable and to be strong and to do things on their own.
Yeah.
It was definitely not like the men take care of everything.
so
Yeah.
are we this way because of the Spanish that came into America? Or are we this way because of the British that
Well,
came into America? Or
definitely
like,
European settlers.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, when they were trying to escape religious persecution, we came over, but they brought over those ideals, which was men do the work and women stay home with the kids and clean the house.
Which is
and-
pretty much doing the work.
right. Yeah.
I did find New Zealand was the first country that women could vote legally. 1893.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
Nice, Sam.
And Southern Australia was one of the first ones too, and then they also let them run.
Okay,
In
that brings
1895, they let women
Really?
run. Mm-hmm.
See, and it took us till 2005
That's crazy.
for Hillary Clinton to become the first lady to be elected to a public office as a U.S. senator from New York.
Can you?
And then Condoleezza Rice was the first black female
that's
Secretary of State.
over 100 years.
Yeah.
That's over 100-year difference
insane.
between the countries.
Yeah.
That's craziness.
And then the last bullet point that I had for dates was 2013. The ban against women in military combat positions is removed. So, I don't know exactly if they were kind of like... Because I feel like that was maybe something that wasn't followed, during all these wars that we've had going on since... When did it start? 2001 was 9/11.
Yes.
Yeah.
So before then. Anyway, this is 2013. The ban is officially lifted for women to be in combat positions. I keep saying combat.
That's actually really messed up.
That's very messed up.
like people who want to fight for our country.
Right. But then,
Really?
and then you have, and
Is that the
this
truth?
is just a fact. Yeah. And then you have, well, women weren't allowed in the Marines. I don't know until when. I should have looked that up, but I didn't.
Oh God.
Like I grew up because I had a couple friends that went to the military, like right out of high school, and you know, one of them was a girlfriend of mine, and I was like, "What are you going into?" And then I found out that she couldn't go into like the Marines. And
Man, after hearing that, I'm feeling real suffragey.
this is what people are still marching for, though.
When I
It's
hear
crazy.
any of this, can I just say that I always think of the mom from Mary Poppins? Like, anytime we talk about women's equality, I think that people forget about Mama from Mary Poppins, who was fighting for women's right to vote
Right.
the whole time.
the whole time,
Yeah.
and that was when Mary Poppins was in the 30s.
It came out in the 60s, I'm pretty sure.
I thought the story was from
It was a while ago.
a while.
But
Wow.
it was like,
a while.
when did we get the right to vote? In the 40s?
1920.
Just kidding. In the 20s?
Yeah.
And so, like, it was set back in olden
Yeah.
time.
That's insane.
It is insane. And it wasn't until, 1973 that we could even control what happened to our bodies.
Yeah. Well, and we're still having
we're
issues.
still fighting that.
Yeah.
so.
Well, what's the new stuff happening with that? Are they trying to take back Roe versus Wade? What's going on?
Well, they were
They
trying
just-
to.
yeah,
I don't
every-
think
haven't
they did.
yet.
No,
Okay,
there's
that's scary.
every election or every time they talk about anything, that's always like the
But
big
there
Not that
is-
I've ever had an abortion, but I would like to have the right to have one if I'm
Or
ever
that- or people you
raped,
know.
or if I'm
Yeah.
ever, like, can you imagine not
No.
being able to?
I just have a problem with 70-year-old men deciding what I can and can't do with
Have
my
you
body.
seen the rooms full of the men that are deciding all these things?
Yes.
Literally, the entire room is men.
And they're
old men?
mostly white.
Old white men deciding everything for women's rights. Imagine if that was flipped just for a second. Imagine if it was a bunch of 60-year-old women deciding what men's reproductive rights were. What if all of a sudden they couldn't jack off? It was illegal to jack
Yeah.
off because they're
We should
wasting
do that.
baby making process.
Just kidding.
I feel like there would be an uprising.
Yeah, there would.
I'm getting
A
a little
mutiny.
heated about it.
Yeah.
There would be a mutiny.
A mutiny! I tell you. God, women couldn't even run in the Boston Marathon until 1972.
What?
That woman
serious?
from the 60s, they have pictures of her and the guys, and she like was protesting, and she tried running in the marathon, and they were like trying to like pull her down and like push her off out of the street. Like they were assaulting her.
I am really shocked by that. Also, I just wanted to say that when Taylor earlier said that Australia and New Zealand let women run, she didn't say run for office, and I immediately thought
They
that
could
they
only
were
walk
running.
everywhere.
And I was like, why couldn't women run?
Sorry,
but
They
now
had to
Run
have 2
for
points of
office.
touch on the ground.
well, that's
quick
the wine
walk.
talking. So I was like, what? They couldn't run? And then I was like, oh, she means for office.
Oh, sorry.
And then, well, I think that most people would understand what you're talking about
Unless
because
they're
we were talking
drinking
about
just
politics.
as much wine as we
and
are.
voting. Yeah.
But then you said that they couldn't run in the Boston Marathon. I was like, maybe they couldn't run.
Maybe
until
that's what it
then.
was. Very literal.
Oh man.
I love it.
So the first article I read was really cool because it took this shift in women's rights that we're having right now, and it took it back to 2006 when it was a different type of shift. And I'm just going to read like a little excerpt of what that said. In 2006, Time magazine named quote unquote you as person of the year. The internet had helped create a shift. YouTubers were producers, Wikipedia users were experts, MySpace had made people stars. And then they said, you control the information age. Welcome to your world. So that same shift is happening now in women's movement. We've been fighting for equal rights for literal generations, like our grandmothers, our mothers, our grandmothers, our great grandmothers. Like it has been something that has been going on for like years, like you said,
Have you
hundreds
seen
of years.
in the women's marches recently and the protests that they are grandma aged women
Yeah.
that have the same signs that they held up when they were young. because they're still fighting for the same shit.
That's so sad.
That's sad, man. We are not where we should be.
And what really helps the cause is the Me Too movement.
Yes.
Which, huge advocate.
Absolutely.
I think that it's changed the game. It's about naming names. It's about being able to come out and ask for accountability.
Yes.
For the people who are, creating this dynamic. That
Men want that too, and I want to say that.
Oh, yes, for sure.
that
100%.
Our brothers and our fathers and our grandpas and everybody and our friends that care about the men and women that have been affected,
Yes.
By sexual harassment and all of the above. They want the Me Too movement just as much as the women do.
It's a call to action.
My husband actually cried about it because he wasn't aware of how many people have been affected. And whenever we all went on that rampage of sharing everything on Facebook and saying Me Too, even people that didn't post specifics, he was I just feel like such a terrible person for not knowing.
Yeah.
I'm
but that's our the thing is that people hide it.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk about
it
it
and brag about.
No.
And when you're raised around good people and you have good friends and you have just surrounded by people who aren't this way, it's really hard to believe that, that it happens.
Yep.
It's difficult. But I think now more than ever, the truth is coming out and people aren't afraid to speak it.
Absolutely.
We've been more empowered than ever. And we've stopped looking to those people who are in power and we've looked next to us.
Yes.
To the people who are standing with us to be, more of a beacon of hope.
I know that we've talked about how social media isn't always that great, but I feel like that's one of the things that
It's helped.
has helped in that movement. So I feel like seeing other people saying Me Too and all of that has really helped me in feeling that I can say that as well instead of just talking with my close friends about it. It's one of those where it's easier to share.
It's okay to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And people want that. I think that helps other people who are going through the same thing.
You feel safe about it then.
Exactly.
And I was part of the Me Too, posted it on my wall, but this was after I saw a lot of my close friends and family post it because it's kind of you don't want to be the first. I guess
It's scary.
It was scary because then I didn't want to get questions because honestly I didn't want to talk about it. But then what ended up happening was that I felt that I could for just the select few that I thought should know.
Yeah.
And that made it a lot more comfortable and safe for me to do that. And I think, like I said, this goes both ways. Men and women really needed the safety of it's okay. It happens to more people than than you could ever imagine.
Which is heartbreaking.
Which is so heartbreaking. But it needs to be talked about.
But I do think earlier on, a lot of these were protesting one thing or one law or one, and nowadays, the past couple have been more just about literally a blanket equality. We just want, everyone to be on the same playing field because we're all equally intelligent.
So I read... I don't think I wrote it down.
I think we're all equally intelligent.
Some of us are more intelligent than others, but as a race,
Yes.
we're
We're just all humans.
As a species,
Yeah.
species. That's
We
what
got you.
we are.
Just because you have a different genitalia doesn't mean that you're better or worse than me.
So
Right.
there was
Yeah.
a law that I didn't write down because I didn't expect to talk about it, but the equal pay law, there's an actual law. Do you have it?
Shoot.
About equal pay that was passed when women were starting to get rights.
I don't
down.
have the details
Okay.
on that, but
But there was
Yeah,
a
I've got
law,
numbers.
but still on average, women
what number do you have?
women make 80 cents.
Yeah, 83.
80%.
It used to be 77, and then before that, even early or even less. But apparently, African American women make 64
Yes,
cents to
even
the
less.
dollar, and Latino women 56 cents. 56 cents
To their
the
male
dollar.
counterparts of the same
The same
job.
So it's not you're not talking about the CEO versus someone who like, plants things.
No.
But a female nurse and a male nurse.
Yep.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah. So they're doing the same job and they're making 56 cents to that person's dollar.
That's insane. This is 2018, people.
Female bosses are still in the minority. Motherhood still carries the risk of career derailment. People won't hire a woman. Instead, they'll hire a man because they know that man won't ever get pregnant.
Leave for it. Yeah. I mean,
It's so fucked up.
Super messed
sorry.
up.
I do want to talk
I don't
about,
use that word very
since
lightly.
we're talking about careers, the first CEO that was a woman.
Who was
Granted, her name was Anna Bissell. She ended up becoming the CEO because her husband, Melville Bissell, died. So she took over the company for Bissell's Sweeper Company in 1889. So like Bissell...
vacuums.
The vacuums.
Yeah.
So that's what they morphed into eventually. But she became the first ever CEO in history, in American history.
Little pause in what you're saying. Did you know that there's a transgender person who serves as state legislator?
Actually, yes, because she's tall, dark.
Danica
Yes.
Rome? Yeah. Or Rowan?
I saw like an Upworthy post about her, but
I think that's
she
really
wears
cool.
like tie-dye bandanas and stuff. Like she's very eclectic. I love her.
What
I love
state?
that. Don't ask me questions.
Don't ask questions like that, Amanda. Don't go for details. You know this.
Sorry, I was
I
excited.
don't know, but I'm
wanted
going
to
to
know,
find
like,
out. Let me
who-
find out.
We live in Tennessee. We are not a progressive
No.
state. I'm asking a
Nashville?
serious question.
Nashville is Democratic, is liberal, and then literally the rest of the state.
No, Memphis
Virginia,
and Knoxville.
guys.
Okay, so the biggest cities, but still
Virginia, and she's hot. She's like
Yeah.
real cute.
No,
Did you
seriously.
deny her hotness? Because
No, but she's like real cute. Look how cute she
Virginia.
is. Yeah, Virginia, 2017.
Katharine Graham was another one that I wanted to highlight. She took over the Washington Post after her husband's death and became America's first female Fortune 500 CEO in 1972.
Wow.
Wow.
So go girl.
In 1972,
Yeah. She still was not.
like 100 or
long
200
ago.
years after we became a country.
Yeah. Not even people yet.
I do want to give a shout out to Kylie Jenner because
God, this better be good.
she is the first woman who is under 50. She's like what, 20, 21? And she is on the Fortune whatever. What is it? Not she's worth
Like the
$900
Forbes list?
million on the Forbes list. And you know what? I'm not going to say that she's like self-made, like she just came from
And
nothing.
that's where I was going to
but-
say, yeah.
Yeah, that's
But she did, instead of being like, oh, I have all the money in the world, I don't have to do anything now.
She does work harder
did
than any
a
of the
makeup
other ones, I
line
think.
that is one of the most like prestigious, like people want that shit. It's really good.
I know.
I
I'm
love
sorry.
her
I
lip
can't.
kits.
I always
And say
I
that
wish I could get behind her.
I'm not going to say that I want to ever be like her or I want my child to ever be like her or whatever, but she works her ass
Yeah,
off.
absolutely.
Her fake fucking ass. She works
her
it off.
she wears that fake booty, that fake booty
She
off.
works that fake booty off. And she
One that I
makes
lo-
the money.
One
And
that I love is Rihanna for
yeah.
her Fenty Beauty, and I
haven't tried it yet though.
like her like lingerie now. I mean, and she has like the widest array of like nude colors that cover literally every skin tone.
I love
and
that.
her makeup
nice.
is so nice. Like her, I can get behind her, but even though she's not a Fortune 500,
I'm
Not yet.
I mean,
not yet.
I wouldn't say don't get behind Kylie, but it's something
She's
that's
noteworthy.
worth
Absolutely.
saying because she's made some strides for
Yes.
sure,
100%.
especially for young women.
Yes.
Can you imagine being 20? What was I doing when I
I mean,
was
she
20?
had a pretty solid
Nothing
setup.
good. Yeah, that's true.
You know, when you're born into that kind of lifestyle and you're born into that family, you know, anything's possible at that point.
She could be pulling a Courtney and not really doing much.
Absolutely.
So-
just like eating up the dollar bills, and I get it. I did want to include.
I hate
sorry.
that I just said that. I'm sorry, Courtney. You're totally listening
She's
to our
a stay-at-home
podcast right
mom.
now.
She works hard for what she does.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm
feel
saying. I wish that I hadn't
Didn't
said
her
it.
husband leave her? I don't know their
Yeah,
names.
they were never married. But
But I
like,
think they're getting back together.
I think they go back and forth. I don't pay attention to the Kardashians, but I do know that Kourtney like works her ass off to take care of her children all the time.
Yes.
Because I think she's one of the only ones that doesn't have like a live-in nanny. Like she
She's-
actually like wants to be a stay-at-home
And Courtney
mom.
is the little one. The
No,
oldest
she's the
one,
oldest.
right? Chloe is the
Chloe
big, is the
I
tall
thought
one.
Chloe was the oldest. No,
No,
Chloe's
Courtney's
not.
the oldest.
Courtney's the oldest. Damn it! I don't watch
Chloe
the
is the
Kardashians.
one-
Me
so I have no
neither.
idea.
I
That's why
don't
I was
either.
like-
Chloe's the one that's closest to Rob's age. That's why they're so close.
Okay.
It goes like Kourtney, Kim, Chloe. Why the fuck
Why do you
I
know
know
this?
Oh God.
I
Amanda.
work in a salon. It's not
That's
my
true.
fault.
You hear a lot of gossip.
And one time I did find I will admit
time.
this. One time I was sick at home and I like didn't get off the couch. I really wasn't feeling well.
it came
And
on the TV.
there was literally nothing on TV. It was like a Thursday. Nothing was on TV. And I was like, okay, fine. Keeping Up with the Kardashians is like somewhat entertaining. So I put it on, and then 7 hours later, I was
No.
like, what am I doing
What
with
is
my
my
life?
No, that's when you turn on Friends. That's when you turn on The Price is Right.
I don't
That's
think
when
I
you turn
knew
on
how-
The
like,
Office.
No,
Listen,
like The Price
it's
is Right was
entertaining.
over. It was already past 11.
Friends.
Like I
It's
know-
always on
it wasn't-
somewhere.
Mandy, you're
Forrest
coming out
Gump.
of this very judgmental place.
Did you hear my voice?
You guys watch The Bachelor. Don't even get
Forrest
on
Gump.
me right now.
Forrest.
I'm not judging you.
I am.
Y'all
a little
watch
bit.
The Bachelor. I'm not going to judge you for The Bachelor for the one day
You
that I
guys
watched
watched
the
the
Kim
OC.
Kardashians.
Listen,
Have you watched the OC?
No.
It's fantastic. Don't judge us on
we're
something
about
you
to.
haven't seen.
I'm about to force feed you that.
And the OC isn't a reality show. It's a teen drama. There's a difference.
Yep. But okay, so
We're
we
so
all
off
watch
track
shit
on so many
TV. It's
levels.
okay. It's okay.
But
It's okay.
Can I play devil's advocate for one quick
I would
moment?
love for you to do that.
So my thing with gender equality is I think that we as women need to stop acting like fucking shit shows so that we can start like really like getting what we need, because we have the Real Housewives, we have Bad Girls Club, we have all these TV shows where like people watch women just acting like trash, and I think that if we stop doing that as women in general, we will be able to like make like more leaps.
I think we can have trashy TV and
I think
still be.
men also act like trash.
Yeah,
I think
I
it's a
do.
human. It's
No,
a human thing to
Absolutely.
act
yeah, I'm
trashy.
not saying that men don't act trashy either, but like I do
Men's
think
trashiness
that
is so normalized that we don't even
that
see
we
it
don't
as
even know it.
trashiness.
Society had our brains.
They go out and get drunk because
washed.
their wives are like
and
staying home
wives
cleaning
stay
the
at
house
home
and
with their kids and
yeah.
they do all this stuff, and I think that like we as women need to like I think that we are doing a good step at being more empowered and working together, and there's all these like boss babes and women who are like really starting like and doing great things, but I just think that as women we need to like act that way too, to like, not that we need to like gain respect, but we need to like have respect for ourselves in order to like have respect from other people.
I
I'm saying that
agree and
across the board,
disagree
not
with
just
you.
like with men.
I agree
told you
and
I'm-
disagree.
I'm
And
playing
I
devil's
understand you're
advocate.
playing devil's advocate,
I'm just
but
saying.
I think as humans, we are the way we are. I think everyone has a distinct personality, and if you like going out and getting wasted, but then go home and work your ass off for something,
Right.
I think
Do it.
these
I know
women who
people
are
like
in
that.
these TV shows
Right.
probably don't just hang out and drink wine. They probably
Bethany, what's her face? She started out with nothing. She's from the Real Housewives, is
Okay.
what I was going to say. Hampton? I don't know.
something.
But anyway, she's the one that owns Skinny Girl Martini or
Oh,
Skinny
yeah.
Girl
Oh, she was
Wine
on
and
Shark
stuff.
Tank.
Yeah. So she's a guest on Shark Tank and stuff. But she was she's self-made, and she's on this like trashy ass television from the Real Housewives, but like
And a
she
lot
works
of
her
that stuff-
fucking ass off.
a lot of that stuff isn't real.
Well, no, they script a lot of it
Right.
and whatever.
I'm not saying that you can't. I like to drink on the weekends and I like to have a good time.
on
But
Tuesdays?
on Tuesdays for
Amanda, I feel personally attacked.
I'm not attacking.
I feel
said that I was
attacked.
going to be a devil's advocate. I'm just trying to like have the argument that people would normally have. Like I think that we
I
as
think if
women
that-
in general should, if not
And I
saying
think
that we
men should
shouldn't
stop acting trashy as well.
Oh, totally. I think that men should get off their high horse and
That's just
understand
it.
that, number one, we give them children. I think that one guy should have to go through labor and then come at us.
Or at least just the pain of it.
Any of it.
I mean, and we got lucky enough that all three of us have really, really wonderful husbands.
Oh, yeah, they're great.
We can't say that enough.
Yeah, I know.
We
and
say it every podcast.
seriously, but like I fully believe it. Like I would not be with my husband if he wasn't the person that he is. If he wasn't the man that he is, because he 100% like he doesn't. I don't want to say he lets me, but he enjoys the fact that I am just an independent, like hippie spirit, and I kind of am off in my own world a lot. And he is like, he's a fireman and he's in the military and he owns a business. Like he is the most stable thing in my life, but he enjoys the fact that I don't have to be like that, to be successful. And he's like, it's fine. Like figure out what you want to do with your life. Like I'm here for you. I'm here for your dreams and everything. Like, and I think that more men should find it. I think more men should find the joy of putting the love and affection into their women in their life. I think that they'd be so surprised what can come out of that, because when women are, nurtured and put up and, put up
On a pedestal?
I don't know if on
You're
a
putting your
pedestal,
hands
but
up, putting
I know,
them up.
like supported.
Okay.
When women are supported and they're encouraged, I think that a lot of times we get discouraged. And I don't want to say just we, like a big blanket statement, but I have personally been discouraged by men in my life, and that has changed the way that I think about certain things and the way that I act about certain things. So I'm just I just want to say I'm very thankful for my husband.
So I am reading a book currently called Girl, Wash Your Face. Sorry,
Who's that by?
I always feel like I'm reading
actually
books.
I heard about that.
I'm reading
Rachel
books,
Hollis
but they're not like
is her name. It is. She's
self-help.
a Christian author, and what I love so much about the book is she is a lifestyle blogger, and what she talks about is how we as women believe these lies, and we have been taught them since we were children. Like it doesn't mean that anyone is wrong in telling us this, but like we just take them on as a society. And we believe these lies like, I'm not good enough, or she's better than me, or she has her life together, but I don't have my life together, or she's a great entrepreneur and I just don't have that ability. Or there's so many lies that we believe. And the whole book talks about how this is a lie. And she gives examples of how she has like lived in her life and how she has recognized that lie and has gotten over that lie. Mm-hmm. And what I love about it is that like it's a lot of the lies are things that we don't even realize that we're telling ourselves.
Right.
And I think that like what I said earlier is that we as women need to empower each other and ourselves, but like our husbands and our friends and I think that what we need to do as a society is just empower each other. It doesn't matter like what gender or what sex or what like what color or anything. Like I think that we just need to remember to empower each other and stop tearing each other down.
Absolutely.
Because we can all do amazing and great things, and we as ourselves are the ones who are telling us that we can't do that.
Yeah.
And I do like there is gender inequality in like you can't deny the statistics of how a woman doesn't get paid as much as a man, but I think that if we just keep working towards it and we keep like pushing, that we will be able to.
And we
like,
have
get
been,
that.
yeah, absolutely.
And I think that
agree
that's
with
what
you.
we need to do as people.
There
Like,
are
I just
also
think-
women out there who are tearing down women.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
it's not only men who are tearing
No,
down
it's-
women.
and I've totally
There
done that
are
myself.
women.
I've like been a mean girl in the past. Like
What do they say though? Your first thought is what you've been conditioned to think. Your second thought, rethinking that, is what the person that you are. So
that's
if
nice.
you,
I love that.
if
I
you,
love that
when I
so
look at somebody,
much.
because I find myself doing that, I'm
I
like,
need to write that
oh
as an
God, I hate that
affirmation.
dress, and all of a sudden it's like that woman obviously loved it enough to wear it
Yeah.
out today. Like go her.
Oh, I need to
You
write
know what
that
I
down
mean?
in like,
Like,
my affirmations book.
Yes.
love that.
I love
So
that.
I remind myself of that.
Say that one more time.
So your first thought, whether it's an opinion or whatever, your first thought is what you've been conditioned to think. This is nature versus nurture. This is, what you were grown up to think. Second thought, after rethinking that, is what you actually believe. That's the person you are.
Wow.
So maybe as people, we just need to start rethink. Like,
Yes.
don't go with your first initial
Take a
thought.
minute.
Like, take a minute, think about it, and then see. Like,
And
who
you're
you
allowed.
are.
It doesn't make you a bad person. Like, and I grew up in a really small town that was super conservative, and I don't blame the people for being less than accepting of a lot of people in life, especially in my life personally. But I also know a lot of them have grown as people. You can grow as much as you want, and that never stops. You can grow up your entire life and constantly make yourself better. Just because you think you have an opinion on something, like whether it be race or gender, whatever, your first thought is like, oh God, she's a woman, she should be in the kitchen. But also, like, that is somebody that I love. I shouldn't be saying that. You can always change.
I also wouldn't mind just being in the kitchen.
I really like all the food's there.
Yeah, like
All the
I like
food
it.
is there.
I'm fine with it.
I don't think we belong there, but I like it in there.
I would like
The wine is there.
I would like to open up a topic that
Yeah.
has come to my realization recently. I don't know how it started, but I think my brother was talking about it recently, about how women are being more open about breastfeeding.
Oh yeah.
And
Yes.
when I was overseas, like I've been like many places, like all through Europe and then New Zealand and Australia, people just like randomly will just pop a boob out and be like, feeding their baby.
time.
And in the United States, we don't accept it as
Yep.
well.
We're
You know,
getting there.
it's-
Which we are working on.
Yes.
We're definitely working towards it,
I'm
but
glad
people are
it's a
still
discussion.
like, oh, like go to the bathroom. Like, why are you
But-
doing that here? But it's such a
But then
an
they have Victoria's Secret
instinctual,
models.
natural thing to do.
Yes.
It's not sexualized. It shouldn't be sexualized. It's a very
It's what they were made for.
Which
you're
I
feeding
think
a child.
Yeah.
It goes back to like how we were raised too. Like I have been blessed in that like no one has ever been afraid to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like my aunt breastfed my cousin and I mean we're family, so it's a little different.
Right.
But like I breastfed my baby dolls when I was 4 because my aunt was breastfeeding.
Because that's
my
what you
cousin.
saw.
Like
Yeah.
and I always say that that's why I was always meant to become a mom because I used to breastfeed my water baby. But like I
Did you ever have the ones that like you could feed?
With the peas.
I didn't have.
They would, like,
with the. I
disappear.
thought
Yeah,
you
they
meant the
disappear.
pea, the one that used to.
Oh,
There's one that.
oh yeah, and the
peed.
one that peed.
well, the
I
one
had
that
that
you
one.
could eat, like feed to the peas and it would like poop it out too. I
Urinate.
hate that
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
It's the
Anyway.
best.
But I do think
I think Chuck farted.
that was perfect timing, Chuck.
That's my girl.
So I have never thought that it was not normal. Like
Which is
breastfeeding
great.
has always been normal to me. And I know like I have friends and stuff that have had babies and they will put like a little bit of like a cover on them and not to where they're like they don't feel like they have to cover up, but they just like that's what makes them feel more
their personal
comfortable.
choice.
And like and I've seen other people that are like, oh, well, you can't cover a baby. It's like you eating with a blanket on top of you. And I'm like, a baby probably doesn't,
It doesn't know.
like,
Honestly, it's
baby.
what whoever is doing the action should,
you should
feel comfortable
most
doing
comfortable.
it.
I feel like if I were to breastfeed, I probably wouldn't pop my boob out. I would have like at least a cover, but I
See,
don't
I
care
think
where
that
I
I
would
have
do
to be
it.
one of those women that just pops a titty out,
That-
like
which
ready to
I-
feed.
That's
Because
totally fine.
I'm comfortable with it. So like, but I don't want people to make me feel like I
Uncomfortable.
shouldn't.
Hopefully, once you have your baby, we'll be
We'll
living
be
in
to
a
that
world
point,
that
yeah.
they
Yes.
don't do that. But
Yeah.
they also have those really cool shirts that have like
Little-
you don't
little
even see
air.
it; it's underneath,
Yeah.
and you just go bam.
Yeah.
Anyone
so-
who can't see me, which is everyone,
Yeah.
there's like a slit, and you can like just pull it up, and the boob is exposed slightly, and then you know attach a
Absolutely.
child to the nipple.
attach the child to the nipple.
I mean,
is
I
what
was
she
recently
said.
with one of my friends and she just had her baby and we were at a baby shower and she started breastfeeding her baby and I was literally sitting looking at her and I had no idea. Like I knew that
Yeah.
she like propped her baby into the position
To
but
feed.
like I think that the fact that we were all there, like no one even noticed. Like what I don't like is the women that are like, let me plop on my boob and just tell the world like, hey, I'm breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Like no one like if we
Although
just
to each
stop,
doesn't
their
have to be
own.
a show.
I
Yeah.
Which
think
is
it's
fine,
okay if
yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
I mean I don't think you need to like
They're out
yell to everyone, hey, this
Hey
is what I'm
guys, my
doing.
boob over here. You see
By
it?
the way,
I'm about to put a baby on it.
Yeah, that makes
it's
me
all out right
uncomfortable,
now.
but I'm just uncomfortable with, I'm an awkward person in general. So, like, that would make me uncomfortable even if it didn't have to do with anything that was, like, normal.
Yep.
Like, if that was a normal act that people plopped out their boob and yelled about how they were going to breastfeed, I still would feel awkward about it.
Yeah.
They have the when people get or when they get yelled at or something at a restaurant or whatever, they have like sit-ins or they have like nurse-ins or something they're called, and they will organize all these breastfeeding moms and they'll all go and breastfeed.
Yeah.
With their boobies out.
That I think is great. I think that God blessed me as being a female and not a male because I don't think I could like pee in front of other guys. Like I am awkward. Like that's a normal thing where guys like stand with their peens out and pee everywhere. Like that is normal. I'm an
expert at peeing in the woods. I do it in Colorado when I don't want to walk all the way to the latrine.
You do?
I have one of those.
You have a
shiwi. I have a shiwi.
A peewee.
See, sorry, I have a peewee. Can we just soundbite that?
Isolate that.
Can we soundbite that? I have a peewee.
I didn't know
just
about
put that on the loop.
Well, she is married to a kiwi.
Oh God, TT with the peewee, married to a kiwi.
A shiwi.
So mad.
A shiwi. Sorry.
I think that would be too much trouble for me, to be honest.
But I do think
it's
that
interesting
great
though.
that-
It's less messy.
I think it's great that we are making it more
I've peed and it's pretty messy. It's really nice because it like literally it acts like
it's been pretty messy.
Like when you're out in the woods and you're squatting, sometimes it runs down your leg and you're like, oh no.
I can teach classes on how to pee in the woods.
Maybe you should. I think
I'm
I think
versed at it.
98% of the world's women
just in
need
case
a
anyone
shiwi if they
wanted
want
to know.
in the
In
woods.
case anyone wanted to know, I feel awkward about this conversation too.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Don't feel like I am like just like I'm only specifically uncomfortable around boobs. I'm uncomfortable around a lot of
many things. Wow, we have expanded on this topic greatly.
I think we're done. I think we
should stop with the shiwi.
We beat it like a dead horse.
Yep.
Are we done?
Yeah.
Let's go to crime.
Let's go to crime and just bring this way down.
Okay, so true crime.
True crime.
Yes, there it is. Okay, so also I just want to take another shout out to Wendy. Like this wine is so
It really
good.
is good, Wendy.
It's very smooth and delicate.
Also, teach me how to work out. Well, the problem is my motivation, and you can't teach that.
Yeah.
People are like, you just need to get up and do it. And I'm like, that doesn't work for me. You don't understand. That's the problem.
I go through phases. I go through like I'm really like I work out really hard for 30 minutes for
That's
like
all it is, 30
3
minutes.
months, and then I'm like, oh, I don't work out for 3 months, and then I work out again for 3 months, and then I don't.
That's good that it lasts for that long.
I
Mine lasts for a week.
maintain. I don't ever lose or gain. I just like I lose it for
Maintaining.
3 months, and then I gain it back for 3 months, and then I
feel
lose
like
it again, and then I go
That's
back.
a strategy.
Yeah,
That's a
good
that's
thing.
a thing.
Good. It's real good.
All right, true crime. What do we
true
got?
crime. So this story took place in Wellington, Florida. I figured,
Dude, another Florida.
yeah, freaking Florida. Okay, so let me just preface really quickly about how I have been afraid of clowns. Hi, I'm Amanda, in case anyone didn't get
I'm
that.
having deja vu right now in a very weird way.
Weird. I'm sure that I've talked about how I'm afraid of clowns for a long time.
No, okay.
So I am afraid of clowns. I have recently been working through that. I watched it as a child at like 5 years old, and I've been afraid of clowns ever since. Thanks, Aunt Faith. But I'm trying to get through that. And recently, my husband and I watched the new It, and it didn't really scare me. So
Oh, because we were talking about the guy from it.
He's
Oh, yeah,
creepy
yeah.
and beautiful at the same
Yes.
time. It's strange.
That's why.
So we did
Okay.
talk about this
Yes.
a couple episodes ago. But I just wanted everyone to know that that's how I feel.
Okay.
So I am working through that fear, and this is a true crime that I found while I was working through that fear. So Marlene Warren, she was 40 years old, and she opened her door on Saturday morning, May 26, 1990, to find a clown with a painted-on smile and an orange wig, a red nose, but normal high-top shoes carrying a bouquet and 2 balloons, one saying, "You're the greatest."
The fuck?
"Oh, how pretty," she said. Her then 20-year-old son and his friends who were in the house say the clown handed her the gifts. The clown, without saying a word, then shot her in the face, walked slowly to a Chrysler LeBaron convertible, and drove away.
All right.
She died in the hospital 2 days later.
Damn, really? I mean,
Yeah.
shot in the face?
Shot in the face. She was shot multiple times, but she was shot in the face as well. I think she was shot 3 times altogether.
She survived for 2 days.
Yes.
Damn.
They raced her to the hospital. Her parents in one interview said that, like, everything seemed normal about, like, her breathing and everything, but they knew that she was gone.
Oh, okay. Like brain dead kind of thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then her heart and her breathing were normal, and but she was gone. The documents show that immediately after the shooting, detectives worked to find where the clown costume, the balloons, and flowers had been purchased and to find the car. Along with the costume, shop employees, the detectives learned the flowers and balloons came from a supermarket a half-mile from the victim's home, bought by a woman who wore white gloves. But the first suspect was her own husband, Michael Warren. So Marlene Warren worked as a manager for houses that they had accumulated that they were renting out.
Okay.
And
So she was a landlord kind of thing? Okay.
Yeah. And then Michael, he owned a used car lot. Warren told detectives he and his wife had a good relationship, but his employees and her family said Marlene Warren had been threatening to divorce him over numerous affairs and a beating she said he had administered a year before. Warren's employees told detectives he said he would never divorce because his wife would get half of his assets.
He beat her up?
Yes.
Okay.
So they say.
Yeah.
There was never, like,
Proof
a
of anything?
police.
Okay.
Like, they never called the cops or anything. So, like I said, Michael Warren at the time owned a used car lot, and Sheila Keene did repossessions for him. Sheila Keene, then 27, was married at the time to a man named Richard Keene, who was 18 years older. Other employees, according to the document, told detectives Warren and Keene had been kissing and having sex in the office, and her neighbors said he was frequently at her house. Warren and Keene denied a relationship. So then Sheila Keene was interviewed by detectives shortly after the shooting, and blood and hair were collected. She denied being the shooter, saying she was in another part of the country looking for cars that needed to be repossessed. The person, like I said earlier, had driven away in a Chrysler LeBaron, and the LeBaron was soon found abandoned in a parking lot. It had been reported stolen by a Payless rental agency near Michael Warren's car lot, Bargain Motors. The couple who rented it last told detectives they had arrived after hours at the Payless, hoping to leave the car. Finding no employees, they went home, looked in the yellow pages, and called what they thought was Payless. A man told them to leave the car with its keys in the visor in front of the lot and someone would get it. They reluctantly did. When they went back later, the car was gone, so they called the number again, and the same man acted like he had never spoken to them. The next morning, they realized they had called Bargain Motors. Its yellow page ad read, "Pay less." The rental agency had previously sued Michael Warren over the ad, and an employee told detectives Michael Warren and another employee had pulled the ruse to steal the car as payback, but no one was ever charged of the theft. Eventually, the case became cold. So, I'm just going to go into a couple of other things. Michael Warren was convicted in 1994 of grand theft, racketeering, and odometer tampering.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
I do like that game.
I do love that game.
Mark plays that a lot.
So good.
Or not a lot.
I like
He
when
has-
you can get when you can fly. The
Oh
cheat
yeah,
code.
that's really cool.
That's what Pierce did at our house.
I love
He
that.
stole a plane on
Yeah.
there.
No, like,
That's
but you can
crazy.
just fly by yourself.
Yeah, he flew,
You, like,
and then
flew, like,
then
with
he
your body.
hijacked a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
There's really good cheat codes on Grand Theft Auto, but continue.
Anyway, Michael Warren was convicted in 1994 of grand theft, not Grand Theft Auto, racketeering, and odometer tampering, and served almost 4 years in prison. That makes me think of the dad from Matilda.
Wait, why?
In the movie, he like messes with the odometer,
with the odometer.
and stuff, and like he's a used car salesman.
Oh my God, that's
So
right.
like the whole time I read this whole thing,
You're
I
thinking
just
of
kept
him.
thinking of Danny
Picturing him.
DeVito.
Yeah.
I forgot that was Danny DeVito.
That's such a good movie.
Yeah, and his wife played his wife in the
Really?
movie too.
What were they eating that was like on the stick that looked like marshmallows? Do you remember? They were like walking around and it literally looked like a stick with like 6 marshmallows on it and they would eat it.
I don't remember that.
Was it marshmallows?
It might have been marshmallows. But like I'd have to go back and watch it now because like whatever it was, I wanted it.
The only thing that I
'Cause it looked
remember
so good.
anyone eating in that movie
Was the chocolate
Bruce
cake. The
eating the chocolate
Yeah,
cake.
I know. It's very disturbing. It gives us all night. Bruce.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
Okay, so in 2014, the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office dusted off the file and went to work on it again. They sent the DNA back to the lab and also found out that Sheila Keene and Michael Warren had gotten married in 2002. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. ESPN. It turned out that they were settled in Abingdon, Virginia, in the Blue Ridge Mountains. The couple owned and operated a popular drive-through restaurant called the Purple Cow in nearby Kingsport, Tennessee, until late 2016. Sorry. The establishment served a full menu from peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to steaks to ice cream cones.
Yum.
All of that sounds so good
I know,
right
we're
now.
so hungry.
Questions remain of why investigators who gathered a mountain of evidence in the 1990s weren't able to make an arrest long ago. Among investigators' alleged evidence then, so Sheila Keene, the person that had been working for him, had worn a clown costume before at a Pahokee auto parts store. Employees from a store less than a mile from Keene's home identified her as the woman who bought flowers and balloons about 90 minutes before the killing. A search of Keene's home yielded fibers from a bright orange wig, and similar fibers were found in the getaway car, which was ditched in a parking lot at Okeechobee and Royal Palm Beach Boulevards. Retired Sheriff's Detective Bill Williams, who worked with other investigators on the Marlene Warren homicide, recalled that they pressed prosecutors to go forward with an arrest years ago. He said, "I know we presented the case and we had ongoing meetings and assistant state attorneys, and it was always go back and get more. And you can't blame them for wanting more evidence to build a more solid case. They could have rolled the dice and lost, and you could have never charged her again."
Yeah.
He praised the current detectives for reviving the cold case because back in the day we didn't have DNA. It would have been nice. All of this came back. They did all this research and they decided to arrest Sheila Keene, especially after they found out that even though they had denied having an affair when his wife was murdered, they got married in 2002.
Well, and witnesses saw
Yeah,
her
there were so
buying
many
that
things.
shit
Yeah.
before.
So they were on vacation and deputies had it all set up to where they were going to get them when they were coming back. So when they were 5 minutes from their home, deputies stopped their Cadillac SUV and Sheila Keene Warren did not resist, and Michael Warren could only watch as the cuffs were slapped on his wife and she was whisked away in a patrol car. Palm Beach County prosecutors released in April 2018 evidence that they say helped them and sheriff's detectives to arrest Keene in September at the Abington, Virginia home she shared with her husband. Michael Warren, Marlene Warren's widower, the evidence includes hundreds of pages of witness statements, photographs, reports, and maps. It also says recent DNA tests conducted by the FBI say hair found in a car linked to the slaying could have come from Sheila Keene Warren.
Could have?
Could have. Well, I mean, they're they're still in the middle of this.
Yeah.
So they're not going to say like
this year.
this is, and DNA evidence, like you usually can't say like 100% that this is theirs.
Yeah, they're like, it's 99%.
They're like, this could be from her. Like, we can show you how it's probably hers, but then like with all of the other evidence, like
it could
listed
potentially,
against her.
Prosecutors
Prosecutors released the evidence without comment. Her attorney, Richard Lubin, I almost said Lupin, like Harry Potter. Richard Lubin did not immediately return a call and email seeking comment. Michael Warren, reached by phone, declined comment. Detectives have declined to rule him out as a possible suspect. Keen Warren, now 54, remains jailed without bond. Prosecutors have said they will seek the death penalty.
Damn.
And so 27 years of relative calm since Marlene Warren's slaying in Wellington have come to an end.
So, question. Wait, what year did this happen? That the actual murder happened?
1990.
Oh, never mind. Because I was thinking, because what all the details that you just said, like, were pretty recent about finding evidence and DNA, coming into play and stuff.
Yeah.
Was like, I was just thinking about all the clown shit that came out, like all those clowns that would like show up in the woods and stuff if it was all like connected.
Yeah, that was like
or
2 years
anything.
ago. I don't know. I mean,
and they never
like,
said anything about it. Like nothing ever happened.
I wonder if that all happened after they arrested her in 2017, because it happened in what?
Like
maybe it happened in like 2016 or 17. Clowns are scary.
They're so
I know, but like
there are
still,
other things that have happened with clowns. She just like like
No, you're right.
when she bought her outfit, she went to the store and she was like, I need this. Like she was like, I need a clown wig, I need a clown costume. And they offered her the shoes too, and she was like, "Nah, I don't need those."
That's why she had the chucks on.
Yeah, and she was like, "I just need enough white makeup to completely cover my face."
Why? I mean, like she was gonna kill this person. Like
she didn't. Nobody knew who she was until 27 years later.
You can't tell what actual clowns look like underneath their makeup.
Oh God, they're so
It's like
creepy.
The best mask.
I have nothing against like clowns in general.
I do.
It's just what people have made of them.
I do.
I have everything against clowns.
They were never one of my like fears or anything, but definitely what people have done with it.
They're definitely creepy.
Now that like people took it to a different place, like now that they made them like it. Well,
society
it came out a long
has
time ago,
ruined
but
clowns for
yes,
us.
Absolutely.
And
I mean,
all
clowns
of
were
the
John Wayne
generations
Gacy.
about to
Clowns
come.
were weird to begin with.
John Wayne Gacy.
I know.
I mean, there's a lot of weird shit with clowns. But I thought it was an interesting case. And that it took them 27 years to find it. And that it happened in 1990. And they didn't get married till 2002.
I'm glad that
they
in jail,
eloped to Vegas and got married.
Vegas, yeah.
And she's in jail. He's not. But they haven't said that he... like. Nobody knows if he is part of it. It's still an ongoing. The last thing that I could find was from April of 2018. Yeah.
That's crazy. The like stuff is still coming up.
Yeah, and they did a lot of research. They asked a lot of people in the town of Virginia, and they were like, "Oh, what did you think about her?" And everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, she was so great. I can't believe that she killed someone. Like we all like I would trust her with anything." And everybody seemed to really like her. And
she was so nice, quote unquote.
They had this super they had sold the business a year before she got arrested, but they were like successful, and it's crazy.
Man. And she went and fucked it all.
Well, she started that. She did it 27 years ago.
Murderous.
It's just crazy.
Bitch.
It makes me grateful for cops that open cold cases, because now her parents were able to finally... Her stepdad in one
Has some
interview,
closure.
he was like, I'm not mad that it took this long. I'm just mad that they finally figured it out.
Yup.
And her mom was like, he married the suspect... And then she said, "Son of a gun." And I really liked that was her comment.
Son of a gun.
Son of a gun.
Beautiful.
So that's my true crime.
It's real nice.
That was,
Yeah.
That was a good one.
It was just, I like to do
Clowns are
different
scary.
ones. And it's not like a totally messed up one like the last one I did. So.
Definitely
it's
lighter.
Still, like, not,
Yeah, super-
Like, it's
I
mean,
not
somebody got
good.
shot in the
It's
face.
Way
Yeah.
lighter
it's
than
a-
Albert Fish.
It's
Let's
a-
just say
it's
that.
You can't
a-
top Albert Fish.
It's still a true crime. Like someone died. So like
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from that. Like
yeah.
it's there's and she had a son. They never talked anymore about him except for the fact that like he's the one who like said how everything went down and got her to the hospital and everything. But I don't know if like he's still in contact with his dad or anything. Yeah.
The plot thickens.
Dun-dun-dun.
Dun-dun-dun.
ESPN.
Why do we keep bringing
I don't know. Taylor doesn't
Well-
even watch sports.
It has been a wonderful episode. Episode
This
11.
was a wonderful conversation.
Great wine. Great
Yeah,
conversation.
this is good wine.
We sparked a
I
good
like it.
debate.
Debate time.
Yeah.
We're master debaters.
Master debaters.
But we would love for
Sexual.
all of you to go check us out on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. We are at Pop Crime and Wine. If you want to email us and let us know what you think,
Or sponsor us.
that is at popcrimewine@gmail.com. And leave us a review.
Please leave us reviews, guys.
We really loved reading
Give
the
us
reviews
them
a couple
5
weeks
star.
ago, so we need you to leave more reviews so that we can read them out loud.
Be creative.
Yes.
But
Do
like
it.
only if they're nice.
But only if they're nice.
only if you like us. All right. Well, as always, we will see you next Tuesday. Baby. ESPN. Sports.